welcome everyone for today evening. Our host for the day is Colonel Rohit Agarwal. Sir is an Armored Corps officer, and after his service with Army, he has been a very prolific writer. He has already authored 7 books on non-fiction military history, especially. And sir also has a Telegram channel wherein he keeps posting very interesting historical facts and trivia. Sir, please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Vipul, and good evening, everybody. Welcome. As usual, this is promising to be a very interesting and an enlightening talk. And Vipul is, of course, quite an expert in the subject. So, what we're going to talk about is that who's going to be the next builder that is, likely to collapse. We've seen the twin towers of Unitech coming down recently. We've seen so many of these builders go. So-called, down under. So my first question to you, Vipul, is that why does this happen? Why do the builders go bust?
Okay, so for ease of structuring the talk, I have a very small basic presentation just to I'll use that. So there are basically, broadly speaking, 6 reasons, as per my understanding and experience for the last 15 years in the industry. First is that the builders who fail are typically the ones who have exposed themselves much more than their capacity to deliver. Second, so this is one thing wherein they've exposed themselves much more than their capacity. Second is when they do this exposure at a very rapid pace. I mean, they undertake a very rapid expansion of deliveries and commitments. And you will find that this kind of a thing usually happens when there is a bull run in the market or the demand seems to be high. Usually for the initial expansion, the builders, they take on a lot of debt and fuel this expansion. And also at times as a method to mop up money from the market, they sell at unrealistically low prices. For the 5th point, I'll give you an example. There is a builder, or rather was a builder by the name of Era Landmarks. In 2006-07, it used to sell projects, or rather 2003-04. When there was a bull run in the market, it used to sell projects at around 40% discount to the market price. On the face of it, it looks very attractive, but that 40% discount was even lower than the production price of any other builder. And that's where, and as of today, Era has not delivered any project it launched in those 2 odd years when it was committing to give houses to people or deliver these projects. And then finally, the builders, they then, when they have repeated breaking of these promises, they get into foresight disputes. They get into disputes with their lenders or suppliers from where they're purchasing raw material, or they have raised capital. Like recently, you see in Supertech's case, it's been taken to bankruptcy by their primary lender. Then they get into, similarly, the suppliers also at times taken to courts. Then they get into disputes with their buyers, because buyers also, once they have been, the projects have been delayed beyond a certain time period, the buyers take legal action. And a lot of time you'll find that the builders have also been sued by their employees for non-payment of dues and withheld salaries, etc. So these are the 6 reasons, broadly speaking, as to why builders fail.
Right. So I think we'll talk about these in a greater detail. But the question that in anybody's mind is that anyone who's looking at investing in real estate and going through a builder, and we've seen these very big names also coming down. So we don't have any access to their financials, their balance sheets. So as an investor, how do we assess their worthiness of the builder himself and the worthiness of the project?
Okay. Sir, we do not have access to the balance sheets, that's true. But as a rule of thumb, a real estate business is like any other business when you look at it from the builder's perspective. So usually, depending on the market condition, a builder is operating anything from 5 to 25% of gross profit margin. Therefore, if I'm assessing a project of a builder and let's say the project is being sold at 500 crores, and that's a fairly easy calculation to make. When I say that, why it is easy? Because let's say there is a project with 500 units, wherein the retail price is 1 crore. So it's a 500 crore project. So in that, even if the builder has a 25% margin, 380 odd crore or 375 odd crore is the cost which the builder has to invest in that particular. I mean, that's the input cost of bringing that project to its fruition. उसको complete करने के लिए इतना पैसा कम से कम चाहिए. So that's a very broad figure, but I'll also tell you some telltale signs. जैसे वो हम लोग को आर्मी में पढ़ाते थे कि now we don't have access to the enemy side when we are on an observation post or a listening post, especially let's say in a line of control kind of an environment. But if I observe the enemy carefully, if I see some kind of a build up, if I see वो academy में होता था धुआं ज्यादा निकल रहा है, so you know more people have gathered in a post and things like that. So you can make out that maybe there is an imminent action which is being planned against you. So similarly, in real estate industry also, there are signs which if an investor carefully observes, they'll be able to make out कि हाँ यहाँ this is not exactly the way business should be done. And those signs are based on these 6 things which I just told you. I'll move the presentation ahead. But before making any investment, the first basic which any investor should do is look at the basic hygiene factors, which is that the project, as you said, how to kind of take care of the own diligence. So RERA approvals, nowadays RERA is there. Second, in mostly in residential and even in commercial projects, a builder approaches a bank for arranging finance for the project. So as a buyer, you can ask for the document. The technical name of the document is approved for bank funding. So people can ask for the approval for bank funding document, which all banks have, or rather, which all financial institutions have approved. Then what are the complete list of approvals from competent authorities? For this, the investor can either ask it from the builder, download it from the RERA site, and also cross-check it from the various department sites which give these documents. Nowadays, because of e-governance, all government departments have these documents available on their websites. If they're not on their websites, a simple RTI application can fetch these documents to an investor. If the project is already under construction and the builder is asking for money which is to link with the stage of the construction, let's say a project was supposed to be completed in 5 years, I'm entering it at 3 years, then I should definitely visit the site and do a cross check whether the construction is actually at the stage where the builder claims it to be. What is the construction activity happening? And finally, yes, obviously the earlier performance, how the builder has done in the earlier deliveries, what have been the quality of delivery, what about the reviews from people who are already using those projects, and what were the delays and how the disputes were handled. After this, let me move on to the assessment part, or what you were saying, the other side of the assessment. Because we do not have access to their financials, how do we know that the builder has is providing us the correct promise? I mean, should we believe the builder? So the first thing is that when did this builder start the real estate business? When I say this, yes, there have been cases like Unitech and Amrapali, etc., which have been old builders and they still had massive setbacks. But a new builder, say there was a builder in Gurgaon, it started business in 2007-8. And suddenly in 2 years, it comes out with 1,000 crores worth of project. Now that's something one needs to be careful about. Then second is, how has the builder raised money? What's the capitalization through which the builder is coming? There are times where, you'll suddenly find the builder till yesterday was doing a furniture business where the overall turnover was 30 crores and suddenly the builder says, I'm coming out with a project wherein I'll deliver 200 crores. So now for delivering 200 crores, I should at least have 40-50 CR in my pocket. Only then I'll be able to do the basic purchases of raw material, which is land in this case, get the necessary approvals from the government authorities, because government also, for giving all those approvals, etc., has a certain fee structure. So a considerable amount has to be paid to the government also. So what is the source of capital with these builders, especially the new builders? Where are they raising this money from? Is it private sources? Because private sources are very, very prohibitive in terms of interest. Then, if it is a non-real estate entity which is entering into real estate, what kind of a business are they doing there? How is the capitalization there? So you will find that there is, let's say, for example, there is a company by the name of MVL. It had a penny stock on the equity market. It was a listed company and not at all liked by the investors. And the same company in real estate was launching projects left, right, and center. So how, and one doesn't need to have a balance sheet for this. By doing a basic Google search, one can find out what is the source of this particular, how the capitalization has happened. Then project management strength. Every builder will put on its website who are the key people. A builder is essentially a businessman. Who is going to deliver the project? There has to be an engineering team. It's an engineering effort at the end of the day. Delivering 500 houses or delivering a 4 lakh square feet commercial space, you need to have some kind of an engineering capability. Someone who can muster that kind of men, material, architecture. So does he have that kind of people to understand and deliver a real estate project? So that's another thing which should be included in the assessment. Then how much funds are needed to complete the project? At least in NCR, and I include NCR implies places as far as Bhiwadi and Greater Noida and Sonipat, etc. For completing a residential landed project where the development is only about plots, etc., the expense should be anything in the range of 50 to 20 crores per acre. If it is farther away, let's say Bhiwadi, it could be around 8 to 10 crore. But in Gurgaon, Noida, all these high demand areas, because of the cost of land itself, one needs to have 15 to 20 crore per acre. And if it is a building project where some kind of a building needs to be done, then depending on the quality of the building, it has to be 45 to 60 crore per acre. So if I as a builder, I'm claiming that I'll deliver a 10-acre project, which is, let's say, a residential project of 10 acres, then I should have the capacity to put in at least 450 crores. If I do not have the capacity to put 450 crores, how will I complete the project? That capacity assessment needs to be done, that analysis. Then what is the stress on the builder? In what business cyclicity the builder is? At times when when a builder is selling the project, the market is at high. So suddenly their initial 20, 30, 40%, a lot of people buy, and these people are not going to pay the 100% amount. They have been entered by brokers for trading. So these people, they pay 10, 20% of the project cost, and then they want to exit. Therefore, the builder does not have access to future funds from these buyers. New buyers are not coming in. So that assessment is also very important here. So what are the telltale signs? Too many launches, especially given the size of the builder. So let's say in NCR, DLF is one of the oldest builders. DLF started way back. People know DLF from Gurgaon, but DLF actually started even before independence. The reason for DLF moving to Gurgaon was that due to government policies, it was forced to move to Gurgaon. There were some changes in the government policies at some point, so it was forced to move to Gurgaon. The reason why I'm saying this is, as of today, DLF has huge land bank in NCR. Even then, DLF does not launch projects at a very, very, what do I say, a very rapid speed. Usually, you'll find DLF will launch 3 to 4 projects a year, with having that kind of a delivery strength, with that kind of a land bank, wherein they practically do not need to spend money in buying land today. So even then they launch projects at 3 to 4 projects a year. On the other hand, a builder which is 3 years or 4 years old, you will find suddenly they have launched 10 projects. So that's not a sign to be very happy about. That's a sign to
It's
be
like a
wary of.
it's like a Ponzi scheme that they are doing, circulating the money.
Exactly. And they are just, expanding too fast. Then increase marketing, because marketing essentially implies I am creating visibility for myself so that more and more people are interested in coming to me. But marketing is a very, very expensive thing. All kind of media is very expensive, whether it is electronic media, print media. So, and marketing is an upfront expense. I first have to market, only then I get someone coming to me. So this money the builder is spending with a clear intention of creating a hype for the projects they are selling. So if there is too much of marketing by a builder, again, not a very healthy sign. Then too many brokers. What happens is builder needs to have a distribution network. So they rope in a lot of brokers, and the easiest way to do it is by offering them very fat commissions. तो जैसे जंगल में शेर का शिकार होता है तो सारे ब्रोकर जो है आवाज लगाना शुरू कर देते हैं, वो हुक्कारा लगता है और वो नगाड़े बज रहे हैं, यू बेसिकली आर गेटिंग टनलाइज्ड इनटू thinking that this is the best project, because every broker you speak to is talking about only that builder. And the reason is that the broker has been incentivized sufficiently to talk about that builder. As a retail investor, आपको लगता है कि बहुत हिट बिल्डर है, इसका तो बहुत कुछ है, हर कोई इसकी तारीफ कर रहा है, and that is where people tend to get stuck. And then a lot of attractive schemes, festival discounts, confusing payment plan. वैसे तो हमारा रेट 1000 रुपये है, बट आज खरीदेंगे तो इतना है और उसमें फिर हम ये आपको फ्री कर देंगे, और फिर उसके अंदर इस तरह से. Why are you confusing a buyer? Come out with a simple payment plan. This is my price. This is what you have to pay. This is how you have to. So उसमें इतना discount, इतना layering. The idea is so that I, as a retail buyer who is not sophisticated enough to understand all those things, gets confused and ends up buying under pressure by the intermediary who is suggesting that to me. Then too many promises. सब कुछ ही अच्छा है. सब कुछ तो भगवान के पास ही अच्छा होता है, और तो I am yet to find anything which is 100% white. There are always shades of gray. But there are these projects and सब कुछ ही अच्छा है, तो वो they call it, जैसे होता है ना, वो honey trapping है. बला खूबसूरती होती है. That's what I have learned. So सब कुछ अच्छा किसी के पास नहीं होता है. Then very poor customer service. So the way we call it in industry is, जब तक buyer आया नहीं है तब तक how are you, उसके बाद who are you. Very slow in responding. आपसे पैसा ले लिया, आपकी रसीदें आने में बहुत टाइम लग रहा है. Why? Because the builder has spent the money in marketing and sales, but the customer service has not been established. And this is a 4-5 year long relationship the builder has to maintain with you. But there are not sufficient people and processes to handle that part. And then fast turnover of employees. Why is this important? Is because these kind of builders, they are dependent on sales. Okay, every business is dependent on sales, but these builders are dependent on a very unrealistic figure of sales, or mopping maximum demand of them. The only way they do it is by creating undue pressure on their employees, giving them unrealistic target. As a result, the turnover of the employee is very fast. If you see that there is too much of a turnover in employees in a company, again, a sign to be wary about. Then a lot of them do insufficient reporting to RERA, false reportings to RERA. And this can be verified by cross-checking with other departments or banks, etc. Then when there is a payment delay by the buyer, you'll find these builders are very, very particular. So if I make an inquiry, the builder will not respond. But for their payments, they're very quick in follow-up. They'll send you letters that if you don't pay by this date, your unit would be cancelled and this much of interest would be levied and things like that. Okay. Next is that they usually are not able to get loans funded from reputed entities. So कहीं से एक, there are 38, 39 NBFCs which are into real estate loans. So you'll get a company which normally अगर HDFC Limited या SBI are giving a loan at let's say 7.5%, So that company would be giving you a loan at 10%. And if HDFC is charging a 0.5% processing fee, that company will be charging you a 2% processing fee. Why? Because the builder's project has actually not been approved or not been found creditworthy by more reputed entities. So that's another red flag. And you'll find a lot of their other projects are either getting delayed or there is a quality or quantity compromise on construction. So these are the basic telltale signs which a retail investor should look into when before putting in their money.
Right. And we all look at the RERA clearance and the RERA certificate that is supposed to be the stamp of quality and guarantee. What happens? How come these projects get into default even after obtaining this RERA certificate?
So RERA certificate is basically a starting point. It says that this guy has obtained all these things. So RERA certificate is like I as an individual get a car license, I get my vehicle registered, get a road fitness, and then I also get a license to drive and get my pollution under control and third-party insurance, etc. That still does not say that I will not commit an accident. It still does not say I'll not drink and drive. It still does not say I'll not violate traffic rules. So RERA certificate, yes, as I said, that is a basic hygiene factor. I would, as a retail investor, should not touch a project where the RERA certificate is not there. But I should not depend solely on that.
It's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. RERA is a court and it's a newly constituted court. They have very limited resources. A lot of states still do not have the required number of quorum complete for a RERA to function. And builders can be rogue. And yes, RERA may provide relief, but I would say prevention is better than cure because relief is usually slow, painful, and fairly expensive.
Right. So then, how does an investor safeguard his own interest in an under construction property?
Sir, first of all, a blanket advice which I have repeatedly said: जहाँ तक हो सके, buy a ready to move property. But let's say if you're not able to get something which you want in a ready to move in, or you want to use the facility of deferred payments, then if you're buying something in an under construction project, one, choose your payment plan very carefully. And this is something which a lot of people are not seeing the financial impact. Why I'm saying this is, वो 1090 वाला प्लान है, अच्छा जी उसमें आपने कितना दिया जी 10%, अच्छा जी और 90% नहीं, वो हमको उसने बोला है कि आप बनने पर देगा. सर लोन तो आपने ले ही लिया है ना बैंक से. यू हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन ऑन अ लायबिलिटी फ्रॉम द बैंक एंड द बिल्डर हैज सेड कि मैं बनने तक उतना आपको इंटरेस्ट दे दूं. Practically the money has gone from your pocket. So it's not a very good payment plan. So there are a lot of payment plans which are structured in a way to, भ्रमित करने के लिए. So one should be very careful when choosing a payment plan. Then, whenever the builder sends a demand to you, whenever, one should try and make sure that उतना काम हुआ है. Otherwise, you are paying more than what the builder has invested. So you are exposing yourself to a higher risk. If you ask me, and the third point is actually a pro tip. Let's say I have to pay 1 CR to the builder. I have initially paid 20 lakh rupees, got my agreement done, 10 lakh रुपए शुरू में दिया, फिर 10 लाख और दे करके एग्रीमेंट दे दिया एंड अपना लोन अप्रूव करवा लिया. बिल्डर ने मुझे डिमांड भेजा. Just because I've got the loan approved, I'm not obligated to further that demand to my bank and say कि आप इसको ये वाली इंस्टॉलमेंट रिलीज कर दो. बैंक को इंस्टॉलमेंट तभी रिलीज करेगा जब मैं एज अ बायर बैंक को बोलूंगा कि इंस्टॉलमेंट रिलीज कर दो. So I can actually practice not paying the builder and stay 1 or 2 installments behind. उसमें क्या होगा, बिल्डर ज्यादा से ज्यादा चिट्ठी भेजेगा, मैं ब्याज लगा दूंगा, वो देखेंगे, दैट्स ओके. इंटरेस्ट उसी ड्यूरेशन के लिए लगाएगा जितने के लिए नहीं है, बट एटलीस्ट वंस आई एम वेरी वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि इतना काम हो गया है, तभी तो मैं अपने आप को सेफगार्ड कर पाऊंगा और मैं उतना पैसा. And at any point, if I feel that the construction has been stalled, one should immediately stop payments and not get bothered by the fact कि बिल्डर क्या चिट्ठी भेज रहा है कि ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा। भाई मैं 10 लाख रुपए 20 लाख रुपए 30 लाख रुपए दे चुका हूँ, आपकी चिट्ठी के डर से और 10 लाख दे दूं, और अंत में अगर मुझे कोर्ट में ही जाना है तो मैं जितना कम पेमेंट दे रखा होगा उतनी एटलीस्ट मेरा एक्सपोजर लिमिटेड होगा, उतना मेरा पेन कम होगा आपके साथ। So if I'm getting into an under construction project, the only control as an investor I have is the amount of money I get exposed to. So I should limit that exposure. And whenever there is a demand by the builder, instead of just simply asking the bank or issuing a check, I should make a counter reference कि सर project कितना बना है, furnish me the updates, furnish me the construction updates, if possible either visit or send someone, ask them for latest photographs. बिल्डर ये बोलता है कि हमारा तो अभी वहां पर काम चल रहा है, तो कोई ना कोई काम करवा रहा होगा ना वहां पर, उस आदमी का नंबर लीजिए, उससे ऑन ग्राउंड एक्टिविटी को वेरीफाई करवाइए। If the builder is not ready to even cooperate on these things, then it's a very difficult situation. And document all these things.
In your experience, what is the percentage of builders who indulge in these kind of activities?
क्योंकि मैं रिवर्स करता हूँ सर, आई एम येट टू कम अक्रॉस समवन हु इज कंप्लीटली वाइट।
Right. Right. So it is just the degree to which they are.
हाँ, तो हर कोई रेड लाइट तोड़ता है, फर्क इतना है कि कोई ट्रैफिक वाले के सामने से तोड़ जाता है, कोई रात का समय का वेट करता है कि रात को कोई नहीं खड़ा है। बहुत एक आधा ही कोई शरीफ होता है जो रात को 11 बजे भी सब कुछ सही है फिर भी वो ट्रैफिक रूल्स को फॉलो कर रहा है। So the point is, I will not trust anyone with my money. I will trust my diligence and my processes.
And if despite all this, you find that you have invested in a project and one day the builder goes bust, then what options do you have?
First of all, तो अगर if someone has genuinely followed point 3 and point 4, तो उसका पैसा लगा कम होगा, बिल्डर ने काम ज्यादा कर रखा होगा। देखिए इसको ऐसे समझे, अगर बिल्डर को 500 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट डिलीवर करना है तो उसमें 150 पौने 200 करोड़ की उसने जमीन भी ले रखी है। अगर मैंने उसको 1 करोड़ में से दिया ही 30 लाख है तो मैं 30 लाख इज काइंड ऑफ सिक्योरिटाइज्ड बाय द कॉस्ट ऑफ लैंड देयर। अब उसने उसमें 100 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट बिल्डिंग में भी बना दिया था, स्ट्रक्चर भी कर दिया था, और मैंने उसको एक ही इंस्टॉलमेंट और दी, तो मैंने उसको, उसने खर्चा किया 50% का, 500 करोड़ में से 200 करोड़ की जमीन थी, 100 करोड़ उसने लगा दिया, तो उसने उसका एक्सपेंस हो गया है 60% का, मैंने उसको पेमेंट किया 50% का। आई एम स्टिल सेफगार्डेड। So first safeguard was that I have slowed my payment. I have kept my payment slow. That was the first safeguard. उसके बावजूद अगर कोई फंसी जाता है तो एक्ट इमीडिएटली, वो जैसे वो राइफल ड्रिल का पहला होता है ना, फौरी कार्रवाई। डोंट वेट, immediately go to RERA. People start waiting, they get into a correspondence with builder, they think कि अब नहीं भाई, आपने लाखों रुपया लगा लेंगे बट उस टाइम में वो वकील का 20-30-40 हजार रुपया उनको चुभने लग जाता है। वाई? बिकॉज नाउ दे थिंक कि कोर्ट से तो फैसला 4 साल में आएगा। सर वो 4 साल आप 2017 में शुरू करोगे तो 2021 होगा, 2018 में शुरू करोगे 2022 होगा, 2019 में शुरू करोगे 2023 होगा। So start that 4 साल as early as possible. Get into an attack mode immediately. अब बिल्डर से साथ साथ बात करते रहो, ऐसा थोड़ी है कि no court says कि if you have filed a case against me, you can't have a correspondence with me. That right is not taken away. So immediately get into an फौरी कार्रवाई, act immediately, attack mode, go to RERA, go to economic offense wing, file a complaint, engage an advocate. Now with this thing, start talking to the builder. उसके किसी और प्रोजेक्ट में अगर कोई रेडी टू मूव इट टाइप अगर आपको कोई इन्वेंट्री मिल सकती है, आई एम सेइंग सर ये प्रेशर आपने बनाया, उस पर रेरा में गए, ईओडब्ल्यू में गए, साथ साथ में उससे कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस करते रहे। अब कोशिश कीजिए कि ये जो प्रोजेक्ट रुक गया है इसमें जो आपका पैसा है उसको आप उसके किसी रेडी प्रोजेक्ट में विच इज मार्केटेबल वहां पर ट्रांसफर कीजिए। अगर वो नहीं हो सकता है तो जनरली लोग क्या करते हैं, रेरा में जाते हैं या कहीं भी जाते हैं, जब हमारे पैसे वापस कर दो, उनको लगता है फंस गए, पैसे वापस हो गए, विच इज ओके. आई मीन, फॉर द सेक ऑफ मेकिंग a case or making a prayer to the legal authority, that is the right thing to do. But you should know that the focus should be construction. प्रोजेक्ट बनेगा तभी पीछा छूटेगा. रिफंड तो वो अगले 20 साल नहीं देगा. वो हार जाएगा, अपील में चला जाएगा, फिर एग्जीक्यूशन, फिर हायर कोर्ट. सो इट्स अ मेस. देन जब भी इफ आई एम गोइंग टू द कोर्ट, इंस्टेड ऑफ even if the court says कि ठीक है इस प्रोजेक्ट को आगे बनाएंगे, 100% builders when it is in the court, their first line of defense है सर मैं तो प्रोजेक्ट बना के दूं. At that time I should as an investor pray कि सर वो बनाएगा but I don't trust, so the cash flows or whatever, now there should be an buyer appointed body which takes over the project or monitors the project. Then use social media and government avenues to create pressure. और बाकी जितने भी बायर्स हैं, आप जितनों को इकट्ठा कर सके इकट्ठा कीजिए एंड क्रिएट अ कमिटी टू फाइट दिस. इसमें बहुत बार क्या होता है, बायर्स के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बन जाते हैं वो, एंड देन दे आर एक्टिंग ऑन देयर ओन, किसी को पता ही नहीं है, एंड इट्स अ कलेक्टिव एफर्ट. नाउ यू हैव गॉट इनटू अ बैड सिचुएशन, यू आर इन वॉर, यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ वॉर कैबिनेट, फाइट द बिल्डर with an idea to get the project completed. First get the project completed and alongside आप जो भी अपना फाइनेंशियल लॉस को कम कर सकते हैं कीजिए, बट दिस विल नीड अ लॉट ऑफ पेशेंस एंड परसिवियरेंस.
Right. And what about one is hearing like for example China में हो गया अभी 2008 में US में हो गया था where the market itself has gone kind of kaput.
वो ठीक है सर, वहाँ प्रोजेक्ट तो डिलीवर हो गया ना, दैट्स मोर ऑफ अ डिमांड एंड सप्लाई काइंड ऑफ अ मिसमैच. तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली ठीक हो जाता है टाइम के साथ.
Right, right.
You gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work now.